Hello and welcome to the Love is Blind RHAP-Up. I'm Aysha, and we are here to talk about Love is Blind Season 4 After the Altar. It is here. We didn't have to wait too long. It happened this year, so we didn't, it wasn't a huge delay, but very excited to talk about it. As always, I'm here with my co-host, Mary. Mary, how are you?
I'm doing great. After coming out of our Ultimatum season 2 slog, it was refreshing to me. This isn't going to be necessarily the most drama-filled podcast because that's not what the cast was really giving us in season 4 of Love is Blind, but if you're a person who loves love and loves happy endings, or at least happy 1 year laters, then that's what we have for you. It's just like even the people who didn't end up married, almost all of them have moved on, and I
Yeah.
love to see it.
Exactly. Yeah, it was I feel like it was a good catch up. Like it didn't, we don't expect all of this major drama from these 3 episodes. It's really what are they up to now situation.
Yeah, and I think an interesting comparison when you look at this season compared to the first 3 and what we got in those after the altar specials, because this one I think feels the most like, wow, a lot of these people actually are still friends and still hang out. And
Mm-hmm.
while a lot of them are on social media and stuff, I think, and this isn't necessarily a negative thing, but it's just some of the past seasons, especially for the couples who didn't work out, like a lot of those people are very big on Instagram and stuff like that. And that's great, but we see a lot of their life. And so with some of these people, it was kind of like a little bit more of a, I haven't heard from you in a little while. Let's check in and see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So in some ways it felt more real. You know me. I feel like Love is Blind is the one dating show that can give us some like real outcomes with some real people. And I
Yeah.
think this cast really just had a lot of those couples, even the ones who during the season we were like, I'm not sure about them. We came back now and we're like, oh yeah, look at them.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at them.
Yeah. So if you are here listening, you haven't watched the 3 episodes and you just want to catch up, welcome. If you plan on watching, this is full spoiler territory, so go back and watch the last 3 episodes. It's not its own thing, so make sure you just go to Love is Blind season 4, and it's episodes like 11 through 14, or no, 12 through 14 or something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Find the
last 3
reunion,
episodes.
the live
Yeah.
reunion, and then skip
Right.
past that one.
Right after the reunion. And so, yeah, make sure y'all go subscribe to our Love at First Sight feed. That's where you can get all of our podcasts about Love is Blind, The Ultimatum, which we just wrapped up, season 2, unfortunately, and all of our coverage about Married at First Sight, the show Perfect Match. So just make sure you go subscribe. And you can subscribe easily at robhasawebsite.com/subscribe. We're also on Rob Has a Podcast YouTube channel. If you're listening to audio only and you want to watch us, we are on YouTube. So yeah, let's dive in. I mean, it wasn't we got good like facts to catch up with people, but it wasn't just like content heavy. It wasn't like you had to watch and not do anything else. Like I was definitely keeping up on Twitter with Big Brother at the same time because it was just like a casual hangout.
Yeah. It's like there were a lot of moments when they were sitting, catching up, asking questions like, what does marriage mean to you? What has it been like? What have you learned about yourself? Where you're kind of watching like, okay, yeah. I mean, these are kind of generic answers. I feel like I almost would have rather had a little bit more of the like, show me your apartment. Let's show me, I don't know, a day in the life. And instead it was kind of more like the interview style, especially in the beginning, like sit down, catch up. And I was a little, I don't know, I guess I was a little surprised to see that we get Brett and Tiffany, Kwame and Chelsea, and Zach and Bliss instantly just being like, yep, everything's great. Everything's great.
Yeah.
Everything's great. And I'm like,
No
okay,
build
all
up.
right.
Yeah.
No drama, nothing. No, like, well, we had an issue deciding if we wanted to live here or here. It was just kind of like Tiffany's like,
Here it is.
yeah, you know, I miss Seattle, but I'm in Portland now, so okay. I'm like, all right.
Right.
Like any of the things that were like these big arguments, these big discussions, these big like, what are we gonna do about this? From the show, it's kind of like, oh yeah, we just kind of like decided.
We figured it out.
Yeah, we figured it out.
Yeah.
Which was like the same thing we had noticed in the ultimatum. A lot of that stuff. It was kind of like, yeah, okay, well,
exactly. So we yeah, there was they just got right into it. And so well, I guess a broad overview if you didn't watch. They caught up with the current or the couples that stayed together. Then they did a football game to get everybody back together, including like people from the pods that we never really got to meet. And then they did like a party for it wasn't for Chelsea's birthday, but they mentioned Chelsea's birthday.
It happened to also be her birthday.
Yeah, it happened to be her birthday, but it was an excuse to get everybody back together.
And I was glad that they were like, oh yeah, this is the after football party with everyone that we just hung out with, and not trying to like shoehorn in that all of these people really care about someone's birthday when they're not necessarily really like hanging out all the time, which is what they did in the last couple seasons. I guess the first season it was like the 1 year anniversary or two year anniversary actually, yeah. For like Amber and Barnett and you know the golden couple,
right?
The other one, right. Lauren and Cameron. But yeah, and then I'm trying to remember the format of season 2 and season 3. One of them they like took a trip together, right?
Well, season 2, wasn't it the couple that it was, so the guy and the girl that were together, and it was like her birthday.
Well,
I don't know why. What is that?
So there was Alexis and Brennan. They did their birthday.
Alexis, yes,
that was season 3. So didn't one of the seasons they like take a trip? And they like went and all stayed in a house and they had like a 80s party or a 70s party or
it was like Ayana's season. Ayana and Jared and Mal and the couple
Sal. But then like that's the season where like everybody broke up like a year later. So never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
That one was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So let's talk about let's catch up with Brett and Tiffany. I thought it was so cute that she was just like, hey y'all, we the Browns. And then we just proceeded to see them just get along on every level. I don't know if it's just me, but they seem so far above this show. Like the maturity level is like them up here at the very top of the screen. And then next we have like, then you have like Zach and Bliss.
Yeah.
Zach and Bliss and Chelsea and Kwame are like, a couple levels below, but it's not that they're like immature. I just don't know what it is about Brett and Tiffany. They're just like they're solid
grown adults who are living their own lives.
Right. Yeah, they're happy in Portland. There's not an issue. She's acclimating. She, of course, as anyone would, misses little things about her city, which is Seattle, but they are happy as can be, as in love as can be. And this is a year later. So I'm happy for them.
Yeah. I'm happy for them. They mentioned at one point, he's like, yeah, we certainly aren't the perfect couple, but we're doing well together. And I'm like, well, hold on. What do you mean you're not the like, tell me.
Yeah.
Because it seems like
we don't have to get into that. About our maturity. We know that we don't owe y'all anything at this point.
Yeah.
So I was like, I felt like that's what that was.
All right, fine.
Yeah. They're like, we're not giving y'all that.
Yeah.
They probably didn't even want to share as much as what happened during the season.
Probably not. Yeah. I mean, they were, good to check in, see that they're still good. Instantly I was like, okay, things are the same. We loved them on the show, but we also had like, they didn't give us much, right? And that was the same for After the Altar.
They are consistent.
I thought it was funny when Tiffany said that she will become a shoe head one day, and then she corrected herself. She's like, sneakerhead. She's like, shoe head.
I also thought it was very funny prepping for the football game, that she knew a lot more than football than he did.
Yeah.
But he was trying to play it off like he was football competent.
Yeah, Brett, he's like, I don't know anything about sports, but everyone always looks at me and thinks that I know a lot about sports. So I'm just trying to fake it. Yeah, I thought that was good.
Yeah. They were just the sounding board for the other couples. And I thought, they were really cute. They, we did get to, I guess it's kind of like just without, I guess it really doesn't really impact them. So we can wait. We can wait on that. The Marshall of it all.
Oh, yeah. They were just there. Because like you said, they're the sounding board.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about Bliss and Zach. The couple that I was just, obviously everyone loves Brett and Tiffany. They're,
Bliss and Zach is my couple. I love.
But Bliss and Zach, I love them because I was rooting for them so hard to get back together.
Yes.
And it was Jason who just didn't think that Bliss was into him. Jason Reed. Do you see how in love she is? I hope you do.
Watching Bliss, I said this then, I'll say it again. Watching the way she is around Zach, I'm like, this is a girl who, she's goofy and awkward too. I think people can't understand sometimes that you can be, a pretty girl and also still be incredibly awkward, and that's fine. And we love that. I love it, and I love how much did they pay this doctor in this whole hospital to pretend like
I know.
They were doing something involving children.
Right. They set that up because they were like, this is the only piece of drama we're gonna get with Bliss and Zach. So let's make it a meal.
And they walk into this hospital and they're like, okay, it's your turn to come back. And they go back. They're like, all right, yeah, let's go into this checkup room. And the doctor comes in. He goes, okay, how far along are you with your shots? And it's like, allergy shots, because Zach's allergic to her pets.
Yep. I was like, oh, is it IVF? I was thinking, because really what I thought, so I saw this scene before I actually saw the scene. So I saw it on Twitter and I was like, whoa, oh my gosh. and then it showed the entire scene. So I knew going into the episodes what was about to happen, but I was like, Zach and Bliss are just another Brett and Tiffany where everything is A-okay.
Yep. They're good, Yeah. They're super close with Chelsea and Kwame. I've been hanging out with them a lot.
They do a lot with didn't they say they talk to them she said she talks to Chelsea every day?
Yeah, and they say they hang out at least once a week. They get together for stuff. I'm like, okay.
That's close.
Yeah.
But I can't even find time once a week for my best friends that live in the city. So that's
I was trying to figure out. Do they all? I guess they all live in Seattle, because Brett and Tiffany, like we said, live in Portland, so they're a little farther away.
They both live in Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah. So they and they're the ones who, I guess, in this special, even though I'm sure a lot of it has to do with production, but they are going to be the couple who's like, yeah, we're planning the flag football game. We're the ones hosting the party. They're sort of the hosts for some of it.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of joint, because like we said, it's also Chelsea's birthday, and then Brett and Tiffany are also
Brett
helping
and Tiffany
with the
were
flag
organizing
football.
teams, I guess.
Yeah. So they all seem good.
Right. Did you notice her pet names? So she has Asher, who is the dog, and then Blith. Do you think that's like a cheesy way to say bliss?
Oh no, I think it's Blythe, isn't it?
I thought they said Blith.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Blyth. What is?
I thought when she said it, she said.
Oh, maybe
I misheard.
Maybe you pronounce it Blith. I don't know how you pronounce it. I don't know. Or do those do they go together, or Asher?
Well, she probably, I don't.
I found a person on LinkedIn named Blythe Asher.
Maybe it is Blythe.
Sure. I don't know. I don't know how you pronounce that. Maybe it's Blith. I don't know.
Because I was if it's Blith, I thought it was cute because it'd be like bliss, but like a kid saying bliss.
Yeah, it does sound like a lisp on it.
But I thought
I'm getting when I'm listening to the how to pronounce it.
Oh, did it say Blythe?
That was it says Blythe when I use the
Oh,
Google pronunciation. I don't know how she pronounced it. But, yeah, I don't know which one's her cat and which one's her dog, but one of them he's
Asher is her
now
dog because
okay,
Asher is back home, but
okay, so the
Blythe
cat
is not yet.
so he's getting allergy shots so that he can bring the pets back in the picture, which is
I
good.
Oh, another thing about Brett and Tiffany was that Tiffany bought Brett or Tiffany planned a trip to Colombia for Brett. And he was like,
Yes.
he's never had a trip planned for him. So I thought that was just so sweet.
Yeah, that was sweet. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they were all talking about going places, which I have more to say when we come to Chelsea and Kwame.
Yeah.
But,
Well, like, so Bliss and Zach are going to Europe. They're starting out in Dublin.
yeah, now I'm trying to remember, was it her dad? Somebody was, like, really, like, not feeling great about, the show and, like, the
Yeah, her
relationship.
dad.
Is that her dad? Okay. So I like the fact that he's like, "If you make it a year, then I'll give y'all a trip to Europe."
They're like, hey,
They're like,
we are
"Ha,
here to
cashing
cash it
in."
in. Yeah.
So they're going on their honeymoon,
Yeah.
soon,
And
which
they're
at
just
the
they like walk or they were I don't know if you even noticed, like, because they did the first pitch with Chelsea and Kwame, and they held hands everywhere they were walking.
yes.
Like, no matter where if they're walking beside each other, they're holding hands.
Yeah, I
It was
noticed
like
that.
they are pretty adorable. They are she said that they're like he's her best friend, which I feel
Aw.
like you can tell that. They I mean, same goes for Brett and Tiffany, but I just feel like Bliss and Zach, Brett and Tiffany, like they are couples that, yes, they needed the show to find each other, but I feel like they also would have found their way to each other outside of the show. Like they're just such good matches.
Yeah, I think so. I think, like, if he had not, gone on that date with her after he came back from was it Mexico? Or wherever he went with, for the
Mm-hmm.
post-engagement honeymoon thing, with Irina. If he had come back and done that off camera or a few weeks later, I do feel like they still would have gotten
Oh
together
yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
they do seem perfect.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and,
I did think on the same note as with Zach and Bliss, I did think it was funny how concerned at the football game that Zach was about people getting hurt, people's athleticism. That he didn't want anyone to twist an ankle. I was like, he's giving father figure.
he's like the dad of the group. He's sitting there
Yes.
talking with Brett, and Brett's like, "I think it'll be okay. We're all adults. We're not like I think what Brett was trying to say was like, I don't think that like the guys are gonna run and like tackle the girl. Like
Yeah.
we're
Right.
not like we're competitive, but we're not gonna do that. Like um I play a co-ed volleyball game, and it's not like the guys on the other team don't try to like spike it at the girls' heads. Like, come on,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
fine, you know?
He's like, I
Um,
think people know what we're
yeah,
doing. Like,
but but Zach was
what
like,
the
"If
vibe
someone
is.
tries to tackle Bliss, I'm gonna be so mad."
That's
Aw,
really what it boiled
so
down to,
cute.
him protecting Bliss. So that
Yeah.
was funny. But yeah, overall, they're great. They ended the 3 episodes heading off to Europe, and he's so happy. He's like, his life is better than it's ever been. So
Yeah.
I wish them
Yeah.
the best. I can't wait to continue to get updates from them and Tiff and Brett.
How do you feel about the bearded Zach? I
I
know he
like
had
it.
that for the reunion. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah. I think it
it's
really
helping with the
fits
dad
him.
thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
the group
beard and
dad.
the mid-length hair, like
Yeah,
not quite short, but I feel like it really works for him.
I think so.
And she
So,
probably loves it, which is why he still has it.
yeah.
So our last couple that is still together, and how does Love is Blind work? Got married.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I was gonna say stayed married, but got married at the end of the season was Chelsea and Kwame. So I don't know. I'm still on that. I'm still on the fence with them. I
What?
know
Look
that
at them. They're happy.
I know, but they could eat. So I think the problem is he's a showman. Like he wants to present himself as if like things are amazing, and I just It's so I definitely feel Chelsea is being genuine. It's so hard for me to see him being genuine. And obviously I'm a little jaded by his stuff with Micah, knowing he auditioned for Married at First Sight and was pretty far into that casting process. And I'm just like, I want to know that he is all about Chelsea. And I mean, maybe he is. Maybe I just need to accept it at face value, see what we're getting, because he is saying that he is very happy.
I think that they are happy. I mean, look, I can't speak for like what may or may not happen in the future. I don't want to make predictions of couples not being together. They're together now. I'm happy. I'm
Mhm.
good with it. I think like they're the ones who, compared to Zach and Bliss and Brett and Tiffany, I think because they're a little more I'm trying to think how to explain this. They seem more able to talk easily to the camera and production, especially Chelsea. Like
Mhm.
Chelsea, I feel like she's always saying these very like, "Oh, let's talk about this," like a really emotional thing that happened.
Mhm.
But it's clearly like a talking point that she planned. So it's like you're happy saying things to the, like sharing stuff to the show, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it's coming off the cuff, right? Like you probably
Yeah.
prepped it. So it's hard to tell sometimes of like, I think it can kind of come across a little bit like, look, we're good. Here are all these happy stories of these things we're saying, and
And that's
that
what
kind of
I
stuff.
feel like they're trying to, I mean, maybe even Chelsea. I do feel like that, especially knowing that they've seen the public reception to their
Hmm.
to them as a couple. But I feel like they're trying to prove to us that they are a legit couple.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's just like that's the way that they feel they can express it to the camera, and like we're just not
Mhm.
going to. I mean, it must be really difficult to be super comfortable being very, very like open and authentic on a TV show. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure. It's hard for me to read, but like it does feel like I can't imagine that all her family members and all his family members would be like acting like they like each other when they don't.
Mhm.
Like they all seem
Yeah.
like they get along really well.
Yeah. Here's my thing. What expect like especially that maybe like um when we find out that they haven't had a chance to travel yet because of his job, and that was such a prevalent part of their story, was he didn't want that. That was his hang up, was he still wanted to be able to, he loves traveling, he still wanted to be
Right.
able to do the things that he wanted to do, and just figuring out how he can do that in a marriage, which it's possible, right? But then it seems like that's been just like put on the back burner, which is understandable. But I wonder, in what ways are they like compensating for that desire to, like, okay, I have this love to travel the world for, so how are we filling that void now,
Right.
basically?
Yeah, I think some of it might be like, and maybe this is just me trying to look at this through a very like realistic angle, but like if she's unable to travel right now because her job, like imagine she took some time off to be on Love is Blind. Like I know you can work during some of it, but at least when
Hmm.
you're in the pods and probably when, they went on their vacation, like she had to take some time off. It's only been a year. Maybe she didn't have enough PTO to like take a giant vacation. I
Yeah.
know some of the other people have. But I felt like that conversation actually when they're talking about that, and he said like, yeah, but I'm ready to do that soon, and uh, I don't feel like I've missed out on anything yet, but I'm excited to like explore that in the future. So and I like the fact that she admits that she was like naively optimistic about like how easy marriage would be and stuff. And it actually
Hmm.
is more difficult. Like I felt like those were actually very genuine things they said. Like, it's just scrolling through Twitter, there are some video clips of them at like parties and things, and they do seem very comfortable and natural
Hmm.
together
I've
in
seen them
those like,
dancing a lot. Yeah.
yeah. So like, I don't know, maybe they're just having fun and good. I would hope, I
Yeah,
hope that
I
that's
hope
the
so.
case.
I just yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. I have that small piece of me that is like, that felt that way watching them. Like I want
Yeah.
it to be what I'm seeing, and
Right.
I just hope it is. Um and why do you think that she so them and Zach and Bliss went to the Mariners game, Why do you think she specifically was chosen to throw the first pitch?
I don't know. Maybe she was the biggest Mariners fan out of all of them, or had a connection, or asked to do it. I don't know. It seemed like
I was like,
it seemed like she was the one who wanted to, for whatever reason.
yeah. Because it seemed like, seemed like Love is Blind. They were the guests, but then they were like, Chelsea is, throwing the first pitch. I was like,
I don't know. Maybe none of the other ones wanted to. I'm not sure.
Right,
I don't know. She did.
Yeah. I thought it was really sweet, the moment at her aunt's house for her birthday with the family together, getting to see Barbara again. It's like, y'all, she's not a paid actress.
Okay, just on that note, this group of episodes, I think, shouted out the most of like people on the show referencing things that had happened online that were like big about the show. Paul mentioning like not wanting to get caught in a trap because people thought he slapped somebody's ass, like at the wedding. Marshall having everybody film like the Marshall reaction for like the Josh scene in the bar.
Yes.
Yeah, I love
Jackie
that.
talking about Josh's ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was so many. I'm sad that they didn't, like, Barbara didn't specifically mention like, oh, I can't believe people thought I was fake or something like that. But there were a lot in this special.
Yeah, there were, and I like that because I'm like, that's real. That's less of a scripted, like, hey, we're gonna go through these and act like nothing has happened. This is just a continuation.
Well, and it shows like. And, shows like Survivor and Big Brother do this now too, but there was a really long time where TV shows would not, even reality TV shows would not reference like past seasons of the shows or audience interaction. But with this, like referencing, hey, we know that there's a, social media component of reality TV shows, I think is interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought that was a really sweet story of Kwame talking about the first time he had jollof rice.
Yeah. I liked when his brother said, yeah, I remember that day because it was the first day I had Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew gives me a headache. It never fails. As soon as I'm like, I think I'm going to try Mountain Dew again, instant headache. I don't know if it's the sugar content. Mountain Dew?
I mean, I know what Mountain Dew is. Yeah, I know, but I can't. I'm sure I've had like a
yellow.
Sip, but I know what it is. I'm just saying I've never like. I think that I've never been in a scenario where I'm like, ooh, could really go for a Mountain Dew. Like, there's always a better option.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I can't say I've had one in the last 10 years. But hey, maybe I should. No, I shouldn't. It's too much sugar. But yeah, with that story with Kwame, he said, meeting his mom at the airport when he was 8 was the first, and she like gave them, which I don't think we knew that. Did we know that was the first time he had met his mom?
I don't think we knew that. No, like there were a couple things in this special that I was like, oh, did we know this before?
Right.
That, and then also all the Monica stuff, which we'll get to.
Yeah. It was interesting because I felt like that would have been, because it was a huge part of their story that his mom didn't want to be on, like, her voice on camera. She didn't want to come. Chelsea couldn't meet her. And you would think we would get that background story during the season to know, like, this is the context. But
yeah, because I felt like during so much of the Kwame and Chelsea stuff, especially all the stuff with his mom, and then also even the stuff that we talked about before about him talking about like wanting to travel, I feel like the way that they presented it, it made it seem like, oh, Kwame just needs to grow up. Why is he on this show if he like just wants to be single and travel? And then like when he said it this time and they even replayed those clips, I was like, oh no, now looking at it in this light, it feels more like he's just saying, I want to be married, but I want to also be able to do things like with my spouse. I don't want to just like be married and then all of a sudden that goes away too.
Right.
And the same with like the mom, like we were like, why aren't they, why don't we hear her side of the conversation on camera? Why isn't she here? It's like, oh, well, clearly they have a very different like relationship than, I don't even know if we had known that. Right.
Yeah, we did. We have not heard that jollof rice story.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I thought it was I thought it was also interesting when he brought up traveling, where he was like, we got Rocky, so it's not easy to just get up and go. But then I'm like, how many trips are you just like, okay, this weekend we're going to New York. You know, like if you're going on a trip, you're usually planning, and that part.
Mhm.
And if you have a dog, that's also planning. So I never see, like, I've done so much traveling since having Pepper and Cinnamon. So I was like, hopefully that's not like a actual hang up, and it was just kind of like part of the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, oh, Chelsea did meet his mom at Thanksgiving, so she's starting that process, and so that is nice to see that the family is very involved. Um, so they seem to be good. I'm gonna keep up with them on social media. Uh, and I mean, we'll see. They could be together. They could be together as all three of these couples could be together forever. You know,
Yeah.
so it seems like this is what works for them, and so we'll see what happens.
We will. We will.
So let's check in with okay. So we had Paul and Micah.
What is going
So
on? I have there is one enemy in this story, and her name is Elizabeth.
right.
Look, I don't want to judge people who stay friends with their ex's moms, but like, look. You have no business being friends with your ex's
No,
mom.
you don't do it.
You
This
don't.
is
You don't
too
do it.
fresh.
This is just a tie connecting y'all that you don't need and is not gonna, unless you are actively trying, both of you, to get back together and fix things, fine. But you're not able to move on when this is
Yep.
happening. And more importantly, your mom is like, I feel bad for whoever Paul's new girlfriend is, for his mom being like, well, I'm still team Mike. It's like, y'all she didn't even know Micah. Y'all knew her for like a couple
Right.
weeks. And then why is it a year later and you're still talking with her? It's not like you guys were dating for like 10 years and the mom is attached and trying to, no.
For her to say she'll break her kneecaps. For the mom to say she'll break Paul's new girl's kneecaps. Like, what? Like, okay, you could be Team Micah all you want, but you also have to know your son and know, okay, is this a good fit? Because if she's a good friend to Micah at this point, they're such good friends. Friends can also see when friends are not a match. It just, she got more screen time than Paul did in the entire 3 episodes.
Oh yeah. Look, I think Elizabeth seems great. I wish that I had a I think the dream is to have a significant other who you get along that well with their, parents. Like, that's great. That sounds great. It sounds awesome. But Paul and Micah are not together. So you need to sever this tie. This is whatever.
Exactly.
It's like, we both still care about each other. But then Micah's like, yeah, but I need closure and move on. And like, why is Paul talking to me if he's talking to someone else too?
Yeah. I just thought it was so odd how she was just trying, like, clearly Micah is in this weird place, especially for his mom to break the news that Paul is seeing someone else. But for his mom to say, oh, his smile was like, it's unmatched than when he was with you compared to anybody else. That's like that's rubbing the salt in the wound, because Micah is the one that is seeming like she is open to the potential of getting back with Paul. He's the one who has fully moved on. Micah has not fully moved on, her words, but you're sitting here trying to prove that Paul should be with, like, it's just icky.
Like I said, I would hate to be Paul's new girlfriend.
Right. Like, oh my gosh. Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah. And even just like it just saying that Paul still loves her, like for his mom to say Paul still, like, that's just, she was teetering on the line, and then there she just crossed it.
And Paul's like, Mom, can I talk about my new girlfriend? And she's like, yeah, sure. Okay. Is she pretty? Because Micah's really beautiful. I bet Micah has her pick of any guy. Like, literally, this is what her mom is saying, or his mom is saying.
It was just too much. Like, if you're gonna, I think the only way to make it work to keep a relationship with like your ex's mom, if you have to, leave Paul out of it. If y'all are friends, then y'all have stuff in common. Y'all can talk about whatever, but don't talk about Paul.
Like, no, I just don't think they should be friends, but it's whatever. Whatever.
Right.
And then let's see.
I thought it was
Why?
really cute that when Paul was with his mom that they were cooking, which
Yes.
Paul he cooks really well. Like I don't know if you've seen any of his like Instagram stories or TikToks, but that's his thing. He like cooks and he like does all the things you do in the kitchen. I don't know why I'm sounding like I've never heard of cooking before, but
He does all
he
those things in the
yeah,
kitchen.
he does all the like he cooks, which I thought was really cool to see that like he's probably learned a lot of it from his mom.
Well, and he was trying to tell his mom, he's like, yeah, like Micah never really seemed to care about like the cooking stuff, and the new girl likes it. So I'm glad that she
Yeah,
appreciates my hobbies.
right.
It's cute. Um, and then why is Shelby like in this show? Why is she a person? What is happening?
And
Isn't
I
she
thought
like going to be on another show too or something? I feel like somebody mentioned that.
supposedly that it was rumored, but I don't
Okay.
know how true that is.
Mm.
Especially because they rumored that she would be on Perfect Match, which is to find a like a perfect match. But she just said she has a boyfriend of many years, so
Oh,
she's not
yeah.
single. But I thought it was funny because it was her, Irina, and Micah. And when have Irina and Shelby interacted? Because Irina goes, "Oh, what about you? Like, what's your love life like?" She's like, "Well, I'm in a relationship. I have been for many years." Because it was like, because Irina doesn't know Shelby. So, of course, she doesn't know.
Yeah, they just wanted to like have Irina on this show for some reason, even though she doesn't doesn't have a significant other. It's fine. It's whatever. We
Even
didn't.
at the even at the party, did you notice the conversation she had with Chelsea? Chelsea was talking. Irina did not say a single word. Chelsea was just talking about something, and then Irina was just sitting there listening. It was like they just wanted to have a moment with Irina again because we
Uh-huh.
didn't get any other moments because Bliss and Zach are so amicable with her. So they didn't get that drama.
Yeah, she says something like she has a conversation later with Amber, who Amber, if you remember, was the one who was also dating Paul. Yeah.
Hmm.
So Irina and Micah were close in the pods, and then I can't remember, was it Chelsea and Amber who were like who were when Amber was
Yeah.
crying.
Hmm.
Anyway, that's the whole scene, of course, where Irina's like laughing about her crying and all that. And I just love Amber was like, girl, like I don't care. We're fine. Like
Yeah.
we don't need to have this
She's like, this is
conversation.
all,
Just do
yeah.
better in the future. Like I
Yeah.
don't believe what you're trying to say, which is that you're denying the reasons it happened. We saw it. We know why it happened. It's fine. Just be better in the future. It's like
Yeah.
Irina trying to have like some sort of like deep conversation or discussion. She's like, I just don't care.
Her whole involvement on the after the altar was forced. Like there wasn't a single point that we really needed that wrap up. So
Yes.
that, I mean,
Not even a little
they
bit.
just had to include her, I guess. And it was wasn't it Irina at some point during the season said that she looked like Megan Fox. So it was funny when she walked up, Micah was like, "Hey, okay, Miss Megan Fox."
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but let's see. Also, we didn't really know that, or I guess we found out that Micah, right after filming, moved to Arizona. And they mentioned that on the reunion that she had moved
Hmm.
to Arizona. Paul went to visit, but then on this, we found out that she moved back to Seattle. So maybe that's why now she's kind of like, okay, let me see what's happening with Paul. But we find out he's moving to San Diego, which
Right.
Amber is also moving to San Diego.
That was the cringiest scene for me. And I feel bad because it was sort of like a little bit of a spy shot, like far away. The camera's farther away. They probably didn't even know they were being filmed at that
Hmm.
moment or like listened to. And it's Amber being like, "Oh, you're moving to San Diego. I'm moving to San. Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "Y'all, the flirt game is so bad here.
Right.
Like trying to watch this happen, like trying to be like,
Because it was
oh, we
one
should
way,
catch
because
up."
he's in a relationship, so he
Yes.
wasn't.
And
Like,
supposedly she met some guy at a
at a
at
music
a
festival.
music festival. So that's
Yeah. I got her mixed up with the girl who was on Perfect Match, but was also from Love is Blind. That I can't remember. I guess she was supposed to be with Barnett. season 1.
Yeah.
Whoever,
I know who you're
yeah,
talking about. Don't remember her
LC.
name. Yes,
LC.
Elsie.
So she was on Perfect Match, and I was thinking I had got her confused with the like almost made it on the season person. But yeah, we did see that was such a random way to fit in like an update about from Amber was having her go shopping with Bliss, but maybe they are good friends.
Who
So
knows?
yeah.
Who knows?
So last but certainly not least is the Marshall, Jackie, Josh of it all.
Gotta have some drama. And
Yes.
you know what? Just to start things off, I gotta say, there were ups and downs with Marshall on the season, of course. Some high highs and then some like, what? Uh towards the end of the Marshall story.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel a little bit like he in some ways was trying to be like, look, see, everything's perfect, I'm great, everything's good. It's like, okay, we see he's got a new girlfriend. They've been dating for almost a year at this point because they must have gotten together pretty quickly after the show.
Yeah, it was
Shay, I think her
July.
name
So
is.
I think we knew that this season possibly filmed in May.
I think
Possibly.
so, we have it written down somewhere. um And so it seemed like, I'm not going to say it was a rebound, but if it was a rebound, it worked out really well because they're still together a year later. Um, he talks with Brett about how in love he is, and because that's when Brett and Tiffany are being the sounding board to their relationship, I guess.
Right. He
Um,
said he feels like her name is Shay. He feels like she's her person. She just passed her boards. And I will say, I've been keeping up with them on Instagram and they do seem really happy.
Good. Glad to hear it.
I think she passed her boards. Is that medical? I'm not even going to try to guess.
I think that's medical.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Like medical school. But there was one, I do remember one TikTok where she's questioning him about a bunch of like medical related things. And he was getting them right. So I was like, they looked cute. They do look, he's definitely happy, which I feel like his happiness seems very genuine from just watching on Instagram, like watching on social media up until now. But she's a pretty girl. I'm happy for them. I did when like he talked to Jackie at the party. It was funny because he didn't even bring her up. He did not bring it up. She said, I don't know if you're seeing someone, but I'm like, Jackie, he's seeing someone. There's no way you don't know that. Well, I guess she says she hasn't blocked, but
Yeah.
you didn't hear it through as many close friends you have from Love is Blind. You didn't hear it through the grapevine. Like,
do you really feel like this was the first time a lot of them were getting together? Like Amber and Irina, had their little talk, and then Jackie and Marshall are having their little talk. Like, do you feel like that was?
I do. I don't think it was the first time they're in the same place, but I do feel like it's the first time they've had these conversations because they probably didn't feel like it was necessary off camera. Like, when are you at a party and you're like, okay, this is the time to confront my nemesis? Like, no, you just avoid them.
That's why I was wondering if it was like part of the show, like the show told them they needed to do that or something.
Yeah, that's what I think. But yeah, I thought it was funny that Jackie was like, I don't know if you're seeing someone. He's yeah. Actually, I'm happy. But I bet he was like very glad to be able to share that and like, just I'm good. All of this drama can be in our past. So Marshall's happy, but then Jackie and Josh, he is so immature. I feel like he thinks he is so funny. He thinks that making fun of her is just it's his way of flirting, I guess. And maybe she thinks it's cute. Maybe
she must.
Yeah, she has to.
She has to, because otherwise why would they still be together at this point? Like, I know that she said on the show like that someone like Marshall was the kind of person that she never would have dated, but like Josh is a little more similar to some of the types of people that she had dated in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So it's clearly a type that she gravitates toward. Every scene where it was just Jackie and Josh together, I would say, with the exception of the scene where they left the party, in the scene where they left the party and he's like, okay, like I'm coming with you, like I'll go say goodbye and then come with you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I liked that. Okay, he's supporting her, they're together, like they, whatever. But all the other scenes with them, I was just like, everything's a
cringe.
joke, everything's a quip, everything's like him making fun of her for everything. And I was like, maybe they like this, maybe this is just the way they are together, maybe this is the way they are together on camera. But yeah, it was a little cringy, a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit like, ooh, I hope this isn't how you always are, but okay.
100%, because it didn't feel like it was out of left field, as if she's like, "Oh my gosh, why is he acting like that on camera?" He calls himself a big daddy. He threw food at her. Oh, I thought you were gonna catch it. When life throws things at you, you got to catch it. She's talking about licking his cauliflower ears, and it's just, oh, I don't know. Maybe it was for attention, and she was just like, okay, moving on, not acknowledging it. But
Or
I
maybe that's
saw a
like how it
very,
always is, where he like makes a little quip and then she doesn't acknowledge it, and that's like kind of
yeah,
their thing. I don't know.
it's like a blatant like red flag in her face. But I thought it was I saw a TikTok of this girl, like she kept, she recorded, so she would record a part that was cringy, like him throwing the food, and then her face was just like, it kept going back to her face, just disgusted, because it was just, this was not the redeeming. Because remember, they didn't even go to the reunion because they
Right.
were just like, we're just
Skype
gonna have
thing.
our little thing, and but this was not helpful. Like anything I thought about, oh, Jackie and Josh, they're happy together. I don't check in on them on social media, but I bet they're like, that's what they wanted, right? This was just like, Jackie, what's going on?
Look, I don't know. I feel like this is for whatever reason what she's decided she wants in a relationship, because otherwise she had the opportunity to. And I'm not saying she should have been with Marshall. I'm just
Right.
saying
He wasn't, yeah, they
no,
weren't a good
they
match at
weren't going to work
all.
either. But like there, you had a lot of other people in the pods. You could have talked to any of those other people. But
Well, we find out which we knew, like from like
we knew
articles
that
and
there
stuff,
were
that
two engagements that happened on the show but didn't get aired.
exactly. So he got engaged to Monica, and apparently it was a whole thing that she was besties with Monica and Kendra and Keisha. I think it's Keisha. So
Or Kasha, yeah, something like that.
something like that. Yeah. And so she was friends with those four were friends. And then when Monica decided to share her story about getting engaged to him, which happened after the show aired, right?
Mhm.
Then they've had a falling out because Jackie and Josh didn't like the way that she shared the story. Because Josh, I guess, didn't want it to be shared that he got engaged.
So, I've read her post, the post that they like Josh is going to confront her and call her a clout chaser, say it was vindictive, and say it was messy. I've read the post 3 times now. She basically says, "I was on Love Is Blind. I got engaged. It wasn't shown on camera. Shortly after the relationship, I realized that my heart and my heart and my mind were torn. I wasn't sure if I made the right decision, but I knew you shouldn't feel torn on your engagement day. So we ended the relationship shortly after that. I don't know if that means like literally right then, or if they do the couples who get engaged with they don't go on the show, do they not go on the honeymoon part? Like it would have
No,
been
they
hard
weren't.
to
Yeah,
have
they
been on.
weren't there at all. The way they made it
So
seem was they broke it off after she met him,
okay,
because she
because
was like, "Oh my gosh, this is not the guy I
yeah,
want."
I was wondering, like, in other seasons, because this has happened in other seasons, does the show tell some of the couples who get engaged, like, "Hey, we're not gonna follow your story, so you're done here, you're not part of the experiment anymore. Congrats on getting engaged, go
Maybe.
home." Or
Right.
do they choose to go home? Like, I'm not really sure.
Like, we
Anyway,
have a cap. And then imagine one of the couples they sent home is like super entertaining. And then
yeah.
they made the wrong choice.
So she says, "Since then, I've continued to work on myself. I'm grateful to Love Is Blind for the opportunity, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't change anything. I'm proud of myself for giving love another chance. Continue to keep an open heart and open mind. May everyone find someone they love." Does not say Josh's name. Now, this was posted in April. And then after that, and so it's a picture of the ring, and then it's a picture of herself with a rose, and it's a picture of an article that said there were 2 other engagements in Love Is Blind season 4 that weren't shown. Um,
I think he
that's
wanted
it.
to I think he just wanted it to be a secret. because
a secret or to deny, or like he didn't want people to think that it had happened. I'm not sure. Like probably at the point that she had posted it, him and Jackie were, together. Here's the thing. I'm on the side of, yeah, but she was on the show and she's allowed to share her experience.
right.
From that post, now I haven't like checked in to see if she's done a billion TikToks or whatever. It seems like the people they keep mentioning the blogs and the message boards or whatever, that people
Like it's
like,
2005.
yeah, like maybe people there had like started talking about him, and it seems like Josh and Jackie were like reading all the comments and then mad that she either didn't shut down the comments, report the comments, delete the comments, like whatever. They're mad at Monica. At the very least, Jackie is like, Josh is mad and I'm going to be on Josh's side, even if he's wrong,
She
basically.
says she's going to stand by her man, whether he's right or wrong.
Yeah. And like the thing is, I like in the conversation, I know that I'm sure so much of this was cut out, but like Monica saying, friendships are supposed to last. And if your guy is trying to tear apart your friendships, then he's not the right guy for you. I go on both sides of that. I say yes and no. I think like in some scenarios, I could see how, like, if you're happy, like, let's say you're married and then someone who had dated, your ex, but you're friends with, wanted to start posting about it, be like, okay, it's kind of weird that you're doing this now. But like, considering the fact that they were all on a TV show, you're not married,
that's so
like, whatever, it feels different. It's not like you were friends before this experiment or whatever. But also I'm like, Monica, like, I don't know, if Jackie's with Josh and she clearly likes him, I'm not sure anything you can say is gonna like change that. So
I'm totally on Monica's side of this, where I feel like that is true. Like if you are, well, okay, I'm on Monica's side of that thought. Like outside of Love is Blind, if you have a really good friend and you are in a relationship and that friend, or in your relationship is doesn't like that friend, is trying to break that up, that is a huge red flag. In this situation, it's different because she met Josh the same time she met Monica.
Right.
She got close to Monica after that engagement happened. So it seemed like, I guess it's definitely not the same thing. But I do think because of like how Josh behaves and who he is, Monica, it makes sense for Monica to be like, Jackie, what are you doing? I want better for you. It's just, I mean, and we find out that her friend, I really don't want to butcher her name, and I having to because I can't remember how it was pronounced. Cassia, she dated Marshall, so she's the one that Marshall was talking about on the reunion. That she slid in his DMs, they talked, and Marshall tried to downplay it to one date. But she said Marshall was saying stuff like, "Oh, if I had picked you, we could be married by now." So here's my question: what is the time? No, what is the timeline? Because Marshall said, "Oh, I met Shay when I was going through my breakup with Jackie." But you also dated, like, were y'all all dating at the same time, and then you decided to lock it in?
On that one, it sounds to me like he goes on a date with Kasha or whatever, Cassia, whatever her name is. And he goes on a date with her, maybe one, maybe a couple. It's hard to tell sometimes, like, is meeting up for coffee, is that a date or is that the pre-date? I don't know. Whatever. They go out on a date. He mentions her on the reunion. She seems mad that he said basically we went on one date, and she was like, he's saying we could have been married. And it's like, yeah, but that makes sense if you were all on the same show. And he said, oh man, if we had gotten engaged, we could have been married by now. Like, yeah, that's factually correct based on how the show worked. And then probably right around that same time or shortly after that, meets Shay. Like, seems like he was like, okay, I went on this show to get in a relationship. I didn't get one on the show, so now I'm going to keep dating. I don't know. To me, I feel like when Micah and Paul, or when Micah and Shelby were talking about Paul, Shelby's all, oh, there's like, seems to be a timeline issue. It's like, it's not everything has to be like, not everything is Love is Blind season 3 with the diagrams and the timelines and the trying to figure out what is going on. you know.
I don't know. I think it's a timeline issue. I mean, I'm sure, like, obviously, him and Shay are happy and together, and there's no issue there. I was just wondering, like, the beginning, just how it all kicked off. There probably was a little bit of overlap. Like, obviously, people can date multiple people; they do that all the time, until you lock it in and you're official. But I just thought it was very interesting that we hear that on on these 3 episodes, like, probably was the same time. But I think it's interesting that Jackie is just close with her with guys exes, or like her guys exes.
Yeah.
Like, you have Monica. Well, I mean, obviously Love is Blind, but you don't see, like, Tiffany's not with anybody that was seriously dating Brett. I'm trying to get oh, it's not clicking. I was trying to get her proper name just for
oh, how it's pronounced.
Yeah. But anywho, Jackie and Josh, they moved into their apartment, and Keisha. It is Keisha. Okay.
Keisha, okay.
Yes, just so everyone's aware. That's how you pronounce her name. So they do move into an apartment, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you look like this you look like the Nutcracker, skin color and mustache and all." I was like, that sounds like a 10-year-old trying to make a joke. It was just so cringy.
Yeah, calls out the stripper pole, says, which was just a pole against the wall. It wasn't
right.
He's like, oh yeah, if you're good, you can have this whole view. And she's like, I do have it. I got this. Is this their shared apartment, or did she buy it? Like, what is
I think they're they said they were moving in together.
Okay.
They were getting their first apartment together.
The scene was really weird because they carried over like 2 bags of random stuff. It was like a bunch of Christmas decorations and a rug.
And Christmas stuff. Yeah, and she's trying to tell him, like, okay, same rules apply. No shoes, no outside clothes on the bed. And he's like, well, what's funny is you can unpack and say rules at the same time. Just completely dismissing what she's saying. Hopefully it's a thing for the attention of the cameras. Maybe he's just awkward in front of the cameras. I'm really hoping that's it, and that this is not how he is 100% of the time.
And if it is, I am a coast apart, so it doesn't. So I don't have to see Josh. It's fine.
I hope for Jackie's sake. Yeah. I mean, because it obviously is just something that she is like, because she's dated guys like Josh. This is something that she's used to. She thinks he's fine. And so I think I just hope she's not like settling because she's so attracted to him. But yeah, we ultimately find out they are just deciding to take things slow. They're not gonna rush anything. They don't feel like they need to prove anything to anybody right now by getting engaged or getting married. So these two are just enjoying each other, and this moving in together was their next step.
Yeah, good for them. Hopefully they I wish them the best, and hopefully they're not really like that off camera.
Right.
All the time, at least.
Mainly him. And then I think I was trying to see if there anything else that happened that was interesting.
That was mostly it. I mean, there was some cute stuff at the flag football game. I like when Chelsea is cheering for Tiffany, even though she's on the other team. And Kwam's like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm sorry, I just love her. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah.
I forgot. I had somehow forgotten how much Chelsea loved pink, and then I was just like hit over the head with it again.
Yes, you better not forget it.
Yeah.
And Bliss broke a nail, so Zach had every right to be concerned.
Yeah, yeah, had to be concerned. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they went on their trip, so it was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all in all, it wasn't the most drama filled special, but I felt like it was cute. It seemed relatively real, and I'm happy that so many of these people are happy. When we have had like the summer of celebrity breakups, I'm happy to see that we still got a couple of these Love Is Blind couples together.
Right. I mean, and if you're a part of Bachelor Nation, they've all been hard launching their relationships because they went to see Serena and Grocery Store Joe's wedding.
Oh yeah.
And so a few of it, like Rodney and another one, they're all hard launching their relationships. So there is love in the air in this reality TV community. Even some rumored Big Brother stuff, but it's not confirmed, so I won't say anything about that. But yeah, I think it was a good wrap up to season 4 to prepare for season 5, which is in Houston. It premieres September 22nd. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Let's see, when was the last time they had a season in Texas? Was it the second?
They did Dallas, so that was season 3.
Okay.
With
so,
Nancy.
I think it's just so are you going to know anyone on this season?
I don't know. They release the cast tomorrow. They actually are announcing the cast tomorrow, so I will look through.
So we'll find out.
See if I recognize anybody.
Oh my gosh. They need to do a Virginia season so I can see if I know anyone.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know what else, like what cities are playing, because I completely forgot they were doing Houston. So I love Love Is Blind. So I think, especially coming off the heels of this Ultimatum season 2, like, I'm very excited for Love Is Blind. It always gives great content. So really looking forward to it. And yes, y'all, we will be here to cover it. So
we'll be back as long as these shows are coming out. Now, did you hear the rumor that probably not for this next season, but like for a couple later, that it's possible that we might have a host switch up? The rumor is that Lauren and Cameron might become the hosts.
Is that like fan fiction, or is that like
I read it in an article, and I don't remember what article I read it in.
So an article or TikTok?
No, it was an article, but I mean, look, it's all the same nowadays. So that I'm just saying it was a rumor, that it might have been, maybe I skimmed the article, maybe they said it was just a fan theory, but I'm just saying I would not be opposed.
That would be great. I would like that, and they would definitely be somebody like, look, this is proof that it works. I think they would be amazing. We did get like a coming soon clip of one couple that they showed, like, he was engaged before, she was married once before.
Yeah.
Her mom apparently told her that she's not meant to be in a relationship. So that'll be very interesting to play out. But I'm ready. I'm excited to get to know them. I'm excited to see them have to make choices on who to propose to, and see if people regret any decisions. Love Is Blind is just always so good.
Because it's pretty, at least with this show, it's much harder to avoid the love triangles, right? Like,
yeah,
in the Ultimatum, they want to force love triangles, and it doesn't always work out. But in this show, there's going to be some fighting for relationships.
Yeah. So very excited. Yes, very, very excited. So thank y'all for catching up with us on this recap of Love Is Blind season 4 after the altar. Mary, what are you up to these days, and where can people find you?
I'm just talking about Big Brother over on Twitter. So check me out at Frail Mary everywhere. And I'm trying to think if anything else is coming up. Next month, I've got a bunch of my family's backyard ultra marathon that we put on. It's coming out next month. So I'll be doing a lot of posting about that. If you're interested in that, you can follow me over on Instagram as well at Frail Mary. What about you, Aysha?
Yeah, so y'all can follow me at Aysha Like Aysha. That's AYSHA, like ASIA. Speaking of hard launches, I did a little hard launch myself.
Yeah, you did. Instagram.
over on my Instagram. And so yeah, y'all, Big Brother 25. I am hopping in here and there, talking about this amazing season that I'm so entertained by. And yeah, anything else that I have coming up, I will tweet or post about it. So if you just give me a follow, you can see what I'm up to. All right. Oh, and also you can go, if you love dogs, go follow my dog's TikTok at Malshi Poo Sisters. I put out stuff here and there. I also put out a lot of stuff on my stories on Instagram. It's mostly them on my stories on Instagram. But
And
yeah,
even if you don't know if you like dogs or not, like you'll like these dogs.
right. Well, thanks. They're so sweet. So I love posting about them and capturing videos. And they just know if I pull out the phone, they put up a smile because they know what's up. So we will be back later this month to talk about Love is Blind season 5. So thank y'all for sticking with us. And until then, we will see y'all next time. Bye.